Alright, this is something I am actually very interested in. The Horrifying World of Godzilla Black Mass. I've heard of Godzilla Black Mass, and I think it's a bit of a horror thing. I have been wanting to look at something, and well, we're gonna look at something related to it today. So, yeah, we're gonna just jump right into this and check this out. So let's go and do that now, shall we? Another thing I'm curious about is to see how far on the power scaling Godzilla Black Mass goes, but that'll be a conversation for another day, probably.
How do you believe the world will end? Maybe a global-scale conflict will bring upon nuclear destruction.
The
Perhaps
world's gonna end because people are so stupid that they're just gonna end the world themselves.
a cosmic
That's how I believe it'll go.
object will crash into our surface, or maybe will succumb to natural selection, being replaced by organisms more adapted to the environment. However, a way humanity could be wiped out is not something we often think about. A virus, a force in which through history humanity can barely deal with, and is something that on many occasions makes us realize just how unprepared we are to deal with this world's life and biological weapons.
We were tested with collecting Godzilla's tissue samples from the area. Due to the high pollen in the area, we were told to make sure our suits were sealed properly.
They were not sealed properly.
Ew. Well, that ain't good. Yep, that's the boy himself.
This is the world of Godzilla Black Mass. Developed by the artist Steelneck, Godzilla Black Mass is a horror reinvention of the character that depicts the Godzilla universe in a way we've never seen before. It takes a lot of inspiration from Shin Godzilla. However, unlike Shin, Godzilla Black Mass uses body horror to a much larger degree, creating a version of the character that's not only terrifying, but also one we can't help but sympathize with.
How so?
Our story begins in 1978, and the threat of nuclear annihilation is very fresh in people's minds. Commonly, when it comes to nuclear destruction, we're always afraid of the initial blast, the explosion of fire that vaporizes everything. With such a catastrophic event, we often forget about the silent killer, the one that infects our cells and leads to a slow and agonizing death. If we were to survive a post-nuclear world, finding out how to cure this sickness is the top priority. Dr. Serizawa understood this fact, as for years he's been attempting
There's always a Dr. Serizawa, huh?
to cure nuclear poisoning through developing a particular chemical. To test the chemical's effectiveness, he's been using it on a group of amphibians found near the rivers of Nagasaki. They survived the initial blast, and because of their nuclear poisoning, they are the perfect test subjects. Unfortunately, the salamanders don't survive, as the chemical fails to cure them of their condition. Or so we thought.
No. Oh. They're regenerated. It's actually kind of adorable.
The amphibian named Reed has become the first to survive, leading Serizawa to believe that his chemical has worked. He leaves Reed in a pool of water, ecstatic of the progress he's made. Perhaps Serizawa and Reed together will change the world.
Nope. Maybe not so much. Oh boy. Hello.
Reed had not been cured, despite his chemical seeming to work. 10% of radiation remained in the creature. This 10% is called the Black Mass, a point of abnormally mutated
Probably should have done more research before going forward with this.
radiation. It's unknown what caused this black mass to persist. Perhaps it's a genetic trait of the amphibians, and what we now know is that Sarazawa's chemicals are interacting with the black mass in a unique way, causing the black mass to mutate abnormally. It not only regenerates lost tissue at a rapid rate, but the rapid regeneration also causes living matter to grow in size, as if the reaction within the black mass destroys and builds up matter at a constant rate, just like how your muscles increase in size to repair damage from intense workouts. Reed's entire body is a medium to transfer the black mass, but not in a good way.
Bye-bye, cow. Your ass is cheeseburger now.
This is shown in several pieces of artwork where when a cow consumes Reed's blood, they dramatically grow in size as if they've become bloated. Reed's blood is highly contagious, and its consumption
I thought he was gonna eat his ass. Never mind.
causes one's body to undergo similar physiological changes. The black mass fights the host cells, causing their bodies to be destroyed and built up again, leading to dramatic size growth. Now you might be thinking,
Just do not drink the blood then, you idiot. Also, your channel's awesome.
this is a reasonable conclusion if it weren't for the fact that the black mass can spread through other mediums.
Of
In
course it
this
can.
art, Godzilla rests in a body of water as his dorsal plates begin to glow. This would be a beautiful sight. However, the shining of the dorsal plates signifies the release of Godzilla's
that ain't good. Jesus, I'm thinking of The Last of Us from seeing this, because they had the spores and shit, and shit's getting mutated. Like, Jesus Christ, this is what happens when you fuck with science a bit too far.
spores. Spores is not a good word for it. It's more like the release of Godzilla's skin matter. Remember, every part of Godzilla's body is a medium to spread the black mass. We see the consequences of this in this artwork. Here, we see how Godzilla's skin matter alone has decimated all life in this ecosystem, including the plant life and trees, which have become shriveled and lifeless. Of course, the most noticeable part of the artwork
Just turn the fucking place into like the damn Upside Down from Stranger Things.
is the deer and elk in the distance, whose bodies have morphed into horrific forms. Their bodies have melted and fused with the surroundings. They've become bloated, and their spines explode from their back, giving them a form of dorsal plates. This is a perfect example of how even the most mundane parts of Reed's body can ultimately decimate.
Bruh, like even his own body's like that. Holy shit! Even on the scales, like Jesus, it's like, damn. It is definitely quite the horrifying thing.
The life around it. However, the way Reed affects humans is much more terrifying. This artwork depicts a
fucking
scientist
Lord.
or a government worker who's come into contact with Godzilla's tissue samples. Unfortunately, his suit was not sealed properly, and the exposure to Godzilla's matter, no matter how brief,
Like a damn zombie virus, but instead you turn into like the fucked up got black mask Godzilla shit and everything. Like, damn. Guess I wasn't too far off when I was thinking of The Last of Us.
was enough to transform him into a monstrosity. His arms have been snapped backwards, dorsal plates sprout from his back, and
I
a
only imagine what it feels like for the dude himself. Like, is he even conscious through all of this? Is he? Is he basically brain dead and this is just the body moving on its own or something? I don't know. Jesus.
twisted, Godzilla-like head has replaced his human face. It's important to know though that the host is likely already dead and is now being puppeted by this fleshy mass.
That's probably a better thing, because, I want to be alive whenever my body's doing this shit.
This man had it worse than most, as usually when you come into contact with Godzilla's matter, parts of your body transform as your bones contort, your flesh grows in significant size, and dorsal plates grow from all over your body. However, the horrific mutations usually means that those who had transformed typically don't last very long. Not only can Reed's body mass mutate and destroy all life, but if left alone for too long, pieces of Godzilla's loose body can mutate, causing them to develop into independent living creatures who seem to be immediately aggressive and attack any form of life.
That ain't good.
When I say the black mass, if left alone, can mutate on its own, I meant it. According to another piece of artwork, these creatures have the capacity to grow out of a human body, which seems to be the final phase of the infection, likely because...
So what, it's like a fucking xenomorph baby, kinda? You get the infection with the mutation and everything, and then at the end, the fucker pops out. And then... Jesus Christ.
As although the humans mutated, the fleshy mutations can still independently grow into these creatures. According to Steelneck, these creatures are so aggressive because they are in distress. They've essentially been born without skin, living in horrific agony.
I'd probably be in distress too if I had to live in like that too.
Since Godzilla's body is rapidly regenerating, it means there's not many ways to damage him. However, even his self-regeneration is a problem, as the regeneration itself is way too strong, causing parts of his body to overcompensate and regenerate past their original form. That's why Reed's tail is so large. Reed's regeneration went into overdrive, causing his spine to grow and burst out of his back. It's important to know that Reed isn't necessarily evil. He does not seek destruction, and in fact, he does not care about anything. He's a simple animal, just like his original form, just trying to live out its life. However, does not mean he won't fight back if harmed.
That's typical animal behavior, yeah. And just trying to mind its own damn business. And, you know, yeah.
Much history within the Black Mass universe, and as you can imagine, fans have come to wonder if Reed exists within a more expansive universe. Although the intention was to make Black Mass a solo Godzilla story, Steelneck has hinted towards other monsters within the universe.
Oh boy.
Rodan, according to lore details, was a petrel who
Looks more... It's kind of... Well, I guess it kind of looks like a vulture. Pterodactyl vulture-ish, I guess.
Rodan, according to lore details, was a petrel who came into contact with blue oyster chemicals, transforming the bird into a giant, decaying monster. Mechagodzilla is so much more terrifying in this universe. You see, within the universe of Black Mass, it seems the US military saw Godzilla's mutating flesh as a perfect tool for warfare, deciding to keep a chunk of his flesh for whatever reason. However, the army didn't quite understand how rapidly the flesh could mutate.
Of course I didn't. Oh! Lovely.
Godzilla's flesh would essentially cultivate and become melded into several pieces of military equipment, artillery, tanks, vehicles, and jets.
Yeah, so it basically just seemed like they fucked up with another robot. It's like, how many times has this happened now where they fucked up with the Godzilla robot? I don't know.
This amalgamation, Mechagodzilla, whose nerves have become one with the technology, creating a
Because if there's one thing I'm willing to bet, this thing ain't on humanity's side at all.
strange, fleshy cyborg.
What the fuck?
King
Oh,
Ghidorah
boy.
has been reimagined as an eldritch and Lovecraftian creature.
Oh.
Ghidorah's head appears to be skeletal. It's not clear
Look,
if
I just want Kevin to, I just want there just to have Kevin still be here and for him to be stupid still, okay? I just want that. That's all I ask.
it's their literal head or just a mask of some kind. But
Hmm.
what we do know is that these sizable gaping sockets aren't Ghidorah's eyes. It's actually these tiny dots near its nose, giving Ghidorah a horrific look. The
Eh?
creature also has an amalgamation of what appears to be humanoids
Oh.
at the bottom of its body, which are the victims of the many worlds it's conquered and left barren.
Oh.
Hey, if you enjoyed watching this, consider supporting Steel Neck's comic series and
Oh,
take the
yeah,
time
I plan to.
to follow his other works on Twitter and social media. There's so much
Goddamn,
content, artwork, and lore details that I have
probably
avoided
Mother?
covering just so you can check out their work for yourself.
I plan
I
to.
promise you, you won't regret it.
Oh, I plan to.
Read. I am sorry.
Yeah, definitely gonna be giving this a read. Well, it is definitely very interesting, and I am interested as well. Yeah, I found a way to read it, and I've had it saved, but I hadn't read it. But I am reading it now after this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to, because I am so goddamn interested now. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video now. So if you enjoyed it, check out the original. It'll be linked in the description and down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.